You open with c4, Anatoly. And he plays e6.
e6.
Knight
Then
c3.
knight c3.
d5.
d5. Then d4. So queen's gambit.
So he plays bishop e7. This is what, Alazortsev?
Yes, this is his permanent opening. Bishop e7. So this is very solid. Knight f3.
Yusupov is one of the most solid players in the world, and he's a very difficult man to beat.
So here we play pawn takes pawn.
Now you played bishop to g5. Now black plays c6, bolstering his center. And here you played queen c2. What's the idea behind queen to c2?
Queen to c2 doesn't allow us to develop bishop to f5, to this wide diagonal.
So that explains why he played g6. He's preparing.
Just preparing this. And then white plays e4. Okay. Now we can see novelty. In previous games, black would always take on
pawn takes pawn.
On e4, then bishop takes f6. And bishop takes f6, and then queen takes e4 check. And white had advantage and some pressure. So Yusupov didn't want to play this, and probably for this game he prepared especially this novelty, knight takes e4.
So in this position, Yusupov played knight takes e4, and you played bishop takes on e7.
That's right.
Now at first glance, a person would say, that's no big deal, I'll just take back with the queen. But as you point out in your notes, that queen takes allows knight takes on d5. Because the c-pawn is pinned because of the bishop being on pre, and this would also attack the black queen, so this would be a winning advantage for white.
Yes, immediately.
So, but of course Yusupov, had prepared this, and after bishop takes bishop, he played king takes bishop.
Then knight takes knight. Pawn takes knight. Queen takes pawn check. So this is by force. Bishop e6. And so now we can see if black would have just another move, then queen goes from d8 to d5, or queen gives check on f5, and then probably black is better. But white,
fortunately, the rule
white is on the move, yes. And you play bishop c4.
Okay.
But still, queen a5 check.
Now here you played very nicely. You moved your own king voluntarily and played king f1. And what's the idea here?
So it was forced. I didn't want to retreat my knight to d2, then it will be pin, and then knight d7, knight f6, tempo with the queen. So I had to play this just to make possible to bring rook to e1, just to attack the black king.
But actually having to play this is actually not so bad, like you pointed out. It does allow the rook to come very rapidly and start to utilize the e-file.
Yeah, that's right. But black has another tempo.
So now, of course, you don't want to exchange queens.
No, even I can't if I wouldn't. Bishop takes c4.
So even if you wanted to, after queen takes queen, he has what we call an intermezzo with bishop takes c4 check. And
pawn takes queen.
Mm-hmm. So this is even more important than mere strategical considerations. So after queen f5, you play queen e3, maintaining the pin. And now he develops with knight d7.
Knight to d7, and then rook e1.
Rook e1.
And then...
Now this is an important moment in the game. He would like to get his king over to safety, but the problem is which rook to bring to the center. And it's clear that he needs more support on the e-file, right?
Yes, this is clear, and then it's important. He must bring on e8 that rook, which would be useful in defense, and if he brings rook a to e8, then black would consider to bring king to g7 or to the queen side. And in case of rook h to e8, only king side was possible for the black king. So of course it gives more possibilities. Rook a to e8.
And now this was a moment that was considered a real star moment in the game.
Yes. Now what to do? This would be mistake. Just to take on e6, for instance. Pawn takes e6. Queen a3 check.
Well, at first this looks good because you check him and you win a pawn.
Yes, but king goes to f7. And then we take the pawn.
If you take the pawn, then I think you pointed out in your notes that he could play queen check. And now we see the disadvantage of your own king having had to move.
Yes, king must go to g1 and then rook e8 to a8.
And this would be an extremely embarrassing thing to have happen.
Yes, white queen is trapped. And I played this plan with king f1. I had in mind sacrifice, which is extremely dangerous for black. d4 to d5. Only move. c6 takes d5. And then simple but strong.
So actually this is kind of an interference theme, the sacrifice. It blocks off the line for his bishop. It blocks off the rank for his queen. It opens up the c-file. It opens up this diagonal.
Black diagonals. So
yes.
This is a game of strategy. Black squares are very weak for black camp. And then white is using absence of black color bishops, and you will see this is just the top of black strategy, black color strategy.
So actually with that in mind, in the game he played a6, which you felt probably doesn't really contribute too much and actually weakens his black squares even more. And I think you suggested that he should at this point try to return the favor and play d4 to try and create some activity for his pieces and open up.
Yeah, that's right. But I think that after d4, most probably Yusupov didn't want to allow white to give this unpleasant check, queen a3 check first. And then it's not possible to play queen c5 with the best defense, because after a6, Yusupov could not calculate all the possibilities after this move, but it became very unpleasant.
So now you start to use the possibility of the checks to improve the position of your queen with tempo. Queen a3 check.
Queen a3 check.
So he played king d8. Now you played queen a5 check. Here actually you pointed out that if he goes here, we see the ultimate in the exploitation of the dark squares. You simply take here, and when he plays bishop takes, then queen c3 check, and suddenly his king is very embarrassed on all the dark squares.
Yes.
Only the king. After queen a3 check, king d8, now you continue with queen a5 check, and he goes king back to e7.
Yes.
If he goes king here, then rook c1 check, and you just continue to attack him.
That's right.
So after king e7 check, now you play queen b4 check.
That's right. And then?
Now this time he doesn't go here. He goes up here. If he goes here, then you play what, knight d4 with tempo?
I think I would play knight d4 with the tempo.
And here you gave some variations after knight d4.
Here what to do? This is the question. Queen must go to, queen cannot go to the fourth rank because of open check. Knight takes e6.
Something like this, and then I think you gave a variation like bishop takes a6, pawn takes a6, and then rook over.
Rook here, and then
suddenly the combined attack of the queen, knight, and rook, is very powerful.
Yes, this is a threat. And so the only possibility to defend like this, then queen d6 check. And the bishop cannot defend on d7 because of queen.
Mm-hmm. So if he plays knight here, then you have something like knight check, king over, and then double check. And the black king can't hope to survive for very long.
Yes,
here.
black king can go here, rook c8 mate, rook c7 check, and then it's winning.
Mm-hmm. But this variation really nicely illustrates the coordination of the white pieces.
Rook on e1, queen on f5, bishop there. So that's why black played king to f6, just using one finesse, because if I take on d7, now if black would recapture with the bishop, then the same idea, queen c0, queen d4 check.
Queen check, and
yes.
apparently he can use the placement to gain a very crucial tempo to survive.
Right, and then king g1 and bishop takes bishop.
And the worst is behind.
And the good is in front.
Mm-hmm.
but queen
instead
d4
he played queen check.
Yes.
Now, as you described to me, basically, what happened here? You played queen check, queen check, queen check, and queen check, simply to move your queen one square without the loss of time.
Yes.
Even though you took, 4 or 5 moves to do it.
But it's very important, because if I would play here, bishop d3 immediately, then I take this possibility to give checks on the black diagonals. So when I brought queen to d4, I can play bishop d3, and I still have opportunity to give check on b4 using this black diagonals.
So to a large degree, the black diagonals kind of become your own personal highway here into the black position.
That's right.
Plus, his queen is embarrassed to find a square.
Yes, if he plays queen f6 now, then queen b4 check, and king must go on d8, and then we can see that, of course, it would be nice for black to bring king to the queen side, but white takes pawn, and then king in the center, and we stop him to go to the king side, to the queen side. So at this position,
so here he decides to put the queen kind of off sides over on the side of the board.
Queen h5. Then one of the most difficult moves in the game. So everybody would think that we must develop initiative like queen b4 check to take this pawn, or trying to do something. But the most difficult move was this one, h4. On the first, how do you say, view, yes? Mm-hmm. You can see what white is going to do. Just attack queen or what, king side. But the point is that after knight g5,
the black queen is very lonely.
I'm successful to cut off queen, black queen, and queen on h5, and then I can do what I want, because this queen will be out of play. So h4.
Okay, so in the game, he played after h4.
I believe king
he played
d8.
king d8, trying to escape.
Yes.
So you continued knight to g5, and this starts to highlight some of these weak points in his position.
Yes, and important thing is that black queen can go to g4, because knight takes bishop is check, and then black queen is not defended.
So he played here, trying to defend some of his position.
Yes.
But now you give the queen a little tap here, and we see she's very restricted, can only go to h6.
Yes.
And now you simply play bishop to f3.
Yeah, this is very important, because bishop on d3 played his role, and so pawn on a6 is protected, pawn on g6 is protected, and this d5 pawn is just making limits
and here
to the actions of the bishop.
It's not so much just capturing the pawn, rather, but once you take this pawn and open this file, the black king is just absolutely exposed. So now he played rook e7, trying to defend some of his things laterally. And now here you played very nice again, using the dark squares. You played queen over.
Not only dark squares, but I keep eye on this rook, and king cannot go to c7 or c8, because rook is not protected. Mm-hmm. Yes.
And meanwhile, you set up the incidental threat bishop takes here to recover the pawn.
That's why.
So in the game, knight f6 was played.
Yes, I think so.
To protect the pawn. And now you played kind of a geometric triangulation motif. You played queen check, and after rook here, then you played queen back to here. And this is a very diabolical move, because you threaten knight takes bishop check, winning the queen, and you threaten queen takes knight.
And if queen goes to g7, then rook takes bishop, and after f takes e6,
So if queen
we have
here,
fork. Knight takes e6.
rook takes, pawn takes, and knight takes check, right?
Yes. And then the only move is just
Knight to g8.
knight to g8.
This moves the knight and protects the queen. However, now you played a very nice move. You played bishop to g4. I guess the idea here is that queen down here check, while very impressive looking, after king here, he's still surviving.
Yes, but after bishop g4, black cannot exchange bishops because queen b8 mate.
Yes, if bishop takes here, that now opens the file for the rook, and then you play queen to b8 checkmate. Much more effective, right?
Yes, and black has no possibilities to defend this bishop on e6.
And again, we have the problem where all his pieces are really kind of around the edge of the board. So in the game, he made one last attempt to try and scurry over to the queen side with his king. But now, you gave him a check, drove him back to the center.
Yes, king d8. And the easiest way. Just
Simply bishop takes here.
bishop takes here, pawn takes here.
Now here, I was hoping you would play queen takes rook check first. But the end result, of course, is the same. You play knight takes, king e7. And now, of course, now that you're winning material, it's to your benefit to trade queens.
Yes, took there.
Now you took here. He took with the king. And now we see another added point of having moved the pawn to h4 is that this rook immediately comes into the game.
Yes, and I think this advantage is decisive. Yes.
He played knight e7, so you played h5 to open up the side. He played king up. He played check. He played here. And now you played check. So if he goes king up, you go rook down and pin him. So he tried to stay in touch with his knight with king over. And you simply went rook check. Yusupov played here. Then you played rook check. And now at last the king has gotten over to the queen side, but it's a little too late. So now he wants to play knight f4, so you stop this. And he played knight to here. And at this point, after rook to e8, he resigned. And so what I was thinking, his only chance for counterplay is to push the d-pawn. But at this point, Yusupov resigned. But apparently, if he plays here, you simply play rook over. And when he plays here, it looks like it's getting close. But you simply play rook here. And when he plays here, you exchange rooks. And after king takes, you simply take his last pawn, and with it, all of his chances. And so this seemed like this would have been a very easy conclusion to the game.